Hello and welcome to my second video going through my collection of Star Wars trading cards. I won't repeat everything I repeated in the first video, but I have had these cards since early 1978, basically. What I thought I would do today is read the information cards, the ones that have information on the back. And look at that, I've already done it. All of these cards have Star Wars movie facts on the back. I won't read them all necessarily. See how we go. These cards all have a big panoramic picture involving, I think it's on Tatooine, sand people. Chewbacca seems to be in there for some reason, unless that's a different picture. But that seems to be all of those, which I've only it's only just dawned on me that that's why they're all red. These ones are all blue. It's only after separating them that I realised that all of that big picture, they all seem to be red. And all the others are blue. The picture ones are a mixture of red and blue. Not picture ones, sorry, the fact sheet ones. These ones have a sort of cartoon picture on the back. Don't know who Neil is. No idea. But these all have cartoon picture. That's obviously a picture of the Death Star. A bit of an X-wing there, maybe. Or maybe that's an X-wing. I don't know. They all make up a picture. But some of these blue ones are also a picture inside the Millennium Falcon. Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Ben Kenobi, and Chewbacca. And I think these ones, let me just do a little bit of improv. I wasn't planning to do this, but I have looked at these briefly already. See, I'm wondering whether I've ever done this before. I think there's a good chance I haven't. Maybe I did as a kid, but I remember not being interested in the picture that was underneath the cards. And I remember that not being a thing for me at all. Just trying to think. Oh, see that one? Might be going out shot here, I don't know, but that one obviously goes up there. Like that. And I think that, yep, that one goes there. Chewbacca must be over here somewhere. There must be another card in there. And he fits in there somewhere, so I'm not sure how these other ones fit together. When I was doing this earlier today for the first time, I think ever in my life, since I've had the cards, I was starting to get a little bit frustrated that I didn't have enough to complete the whole picture. It's not necessarily too late to get the missing ones, because I think you can still buy them sort of brand new. I think I've seen them anyway. These are obviously very old cards. Some of them are almost like damp tissue paper now. They're so old. But anyway, there's those. But what I'm going to do today, I might try and do a video. Let's put them all down actually, pretty much all out of shot, aren't they? I might do a video trying to piece together this picture on the back. That'll probably be, I don't know, like a 14, maybe 15 hour long video, I should think, probably. I'll have to have breaks during the video. I don't know how long that'll take. But let's move those ones out of the way. Now this is a very creased one, look at that. These are our Star Wars fact cards. So I shall just read a number of these. Movie facts. This is a quote. "It's fun. That's the word for this movie." What a great quote. Says Star Wars writer-director George Lucas. He hoped to capture the honest excitement and entertainment of movies from his past, like the rousing swashbucklers and Flash Gordon-type space operas. So instead of having his starships float calmly through space, Lucas created one of the most spectacular star battles ever, using World War II dogfight footage for inspiration. Let's pick out another one. Oh, look at that. All three together. How did they all end up together like that? Obviously I separated these into fact sheets, fact cards, so that would have helped get them together. Let's read one. Star Wars was filmed partially in Tunisia, but mostly in England. Director George Lucas built approximately 30 sets on the 8 rented stages of EMI Elstree Studios and practically took over the whole place. As early as 3 months before any filming began, the crew had raided stages, technical facilities, scene shops, etc., transforming the movie studio into the planets and space stations seen in the film. Yeah, it is amazing for me to think that a film that not only is it set in a galaxy, a far distant galaxy, a long time ago, but made by people that live thousands of miles away. And so I'm always surprised when I think about sets being in England. At the moment, Disney are building sets only 50 miles away from where I live in England for the upcoming live action TV series they're doing. Specifically the Obi-Wan Kenobi live action series. And they're building sets only about 50 miles away. If it wasn't for COVID, I'd probably go up there. But just irritate the villagers. They're already irritated, apparently, by the set being built. Imagine being irritated by a Star Wars set being built nearby. That's crazy. I also remember that during the sequel films, I think after the first one, Force Awakens, the Millennium Falcon was stored underneath some tarpaulins in a field, again only about 60 or 70 miles away from where I live, and it was spotted on Google Earth. And I looked at it, you could actually see it on Google Earth. It was surrounded by shipping crates to try and hide it. But you could see it on Google Earth. Takes away the magic of Star Wars a little bit, that does. Let's pick another card. Producer Gary Kurtz describes the special effects used in Star Wars. We developed a computer to control the camera. Movements were programmed to give the feeling of a flying ship, or a ship flying. Incidentally, the passes the fighting airships made at each other during our air battle scenes were determined from patterns we recorded by splicing together sequences, we've had this already, of dogfight scenes from the old war movies. Duplication of a factor there, sorry about that. It's another doubled up one there. Crate Dragon. They recreated the Crate Dragon for the Mandalorian Season 2 opening episode. But the Crate Dragon in the Mandalorian is about 1,000 times bigger than this skeleton in the Star Wars films. They didn't recreate it very accurately. These little sticky pads. I have a faint memory of sticking some of these cards on my bed head 40 years ago. And at some point I obviously took them off. Although the voice of villain Darth Vader was provided by actor James Earl Jones, the man inside the suit and behind the mask was a British bodybuilder named Dave Prowse. Dave was chosen for the part because of his immense size. He also appeared in the horror movies Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell and The Horror of Frankenstein, as of course the huge monsters in both productions. I remember him as a child as the Green Cross Code Man on adverts, advertising road safety to children on the TV all the time. Seemed like he was on TV all day, sort of in between kids' programs. This was before he was Darth Vader, and possibly after, I'm not sure. I know at the time I didn't realise the two were the same, and I'm glad of that, because you want to think of Darth Vader as being a magical character from millions of light years away. Not some bloke crossing a road in Croydon. I wonder if any of them, there's a lot of C3PO cards in these. On these ones, these fact cards. There's loads of them. My favourite cards were always the ones that had more in them, basically, more characters. Like a portrait photo was never my sort of thing. Like, this is one of my favourites. As I've said before, I loved Stormtroopers. So anything that had Stormtroopers in would also be one of my favourites. Let's read this one. Story summary number 6 of 11. Hadn't noticed that before. What do they mean by that? Oh, I see. Maybe you have to get these cards, these 11 cards, and they tell the story of what happened in Star Wars. So it's not technically a fact, but I'll read it anyway. Before long, our space heroes are captured by the forces of the Galactic Empire and imprisoned in the Death Star. Ben tells Luke about the Force, a power deep in everyone's soul that can overcome the most terrifying obstacles. He then sets out to battle Darth Vader, a former student of his, who turned to evil and is now a major force in the Galactic Empire. Luke, meanwhile, tries to rescue Princess Leia, also a prisoner in the Death Star. I'll sift through all these C-3PO pictures. Loads of them. Can't really ignore them. So a fact file. Oh, actor's profile. Okay, let's go for this one. Before he played Han Solo in Star Wars, Harrison Ford was one of the important characters in George Lucas's earlier hit movie American Graffiti. I love that film. Very good film. Says Mr. Ford today, well, 1977, I'll accept a script as long as it's not ripping people off or hurting anyone. I want to do movies where whatever intelligent energy I have to offer is going to be used in a worthwhile way. I just want to be in something good. Yeah, American Graffiti is a very good film. I love it because it all happens in a short period of time. I like films that happen in a very short period of time. That's why I like Die Hard and Die Hard 2. Because they happen in, well, Die Hard happens in just one night. It's also why I love the TV series 24. Anything that happens in a very short period I think is really good for building suspense. I think this is a shot from a scene that was discarded when Luke was hanging out with his friends on Tatooine, just shooting the breeze, and they realise that has, no place in a film that's only 2 hours long. Movie facts. Let's do another movie facts before we finish. Long live Star Wars. This wonderful fantasy adventure, loved by both critics and viewers, is destined to become the biggest and most popular motion picture of all time. Folks from 20th Century Fox, who produced Star Wars, assure us that there will be several sequels to the spectacular space fantasy, possibly set during a time before the first film took place. In the meantime, we have Star Wars #1 to enjoy over and over again at our local theatre. That's right, Star Wars #1, not #4. I will always fight that. I almost pretend that I don't know what people are talking about when they say Episode 4, A New Hope. What are we talking about? I refuse to accept that that's the title for Star Wars, because it isn't. Star Wars is the title for Star Wars. In fact, they only brought in episode 4 on the scroll, the opening scroll. They only brought that in on a re-release in a couple of years after it was first released. They decided to put that episode 4, A New Hope, on the opening scroll. It wasn't there originally. But they were still calling it Star Wars, nothing else. It was only when the prequels came along that they thought it was convenient to call it episode 4, because they had 1, 2 and 3. But A New Hope is obviously a terrible name for a film, so it's not, it's just the name of the chapter. So the original film was released as Star Wars, and so it shall always be. Also, they say here, Fox assure us there will be several sequels. There were 2 sequels, of course, not several, but they also say possibly set during a time before the first film, so they were... Now, I know George Lucas was thinking about prequels back when he made the original Star Wars, but I think it's quite something that's ended up on one of these cards. It's not a quote from anybody. Like it wasn't a closely guarded secret that he was aiming to do prequels. Anyway, let's maybe do one more and then I'll stop. It's another actor's profile. I've always been interested in science fiction and space fantasy, says Mark Hamill, alias Luke Skywalker in Star Wars. The special effects intrigued me. When I was a kid, I saw King Kong on television every afternoon for a week. It used to just wipe me out every time. That movie was to me what Gone with the Wind was to a lot of girls. It left me feeling like a blob of jelly. Yeah, the original King Kong is very good, but for sheer entertainment, Peter Jackson's 2005 King Kong, is the one for me to watch every time. The original King Kong, though very impressive for its time, it's just too old to properly enjoy for me. Anyway, but I did used to watch it a lot as a kid, of course. Right, thank you for watching. And if you want to subscribe, you obviously can. I will allow it. And you can hit the notification button as well if you wish, because there will be another video, at least one more video on these cards. Plus I have plenty of other Star Wars ASMR videos on my channel. Thank you for watching and listening.